के छ के भइराखेको छ निस्तल थाकल त्यो हात नगर है तेरो हातले पछाडि क्यामेराबाट हात भइरहेको छ All right, can we have can I have the book? That book is there. So let's get back to chapter 14, travel and adventure. Travel and adventure. के छ त भन्दाखेरिमा हजुरको Travel and Adventure, page number 224, 225 of English, right? Class 10. So, do you enjoy traveling? Why? हजुरहरु ट्राभल गर्नलाई इन्जोय गर्नुहुन्छ कि गर्नुहुँदैन? गर्नुहुन्छ। धेरै गर्नुहुन्छ कि कम गर्नुहुन्छ? यति धेरै गर्नुहुन्छ। Right. Which is your favorite tourist place? Mardi. Chitlan. Annapurna. Mardi. So all of you have different favorite places. Most of you have Mardi. Maybe things will change in future. When you start exploring a bit more, right? It's all about that. And someday you might say, oh, my favorite place is the moon. Hopefully that is not going to come anytime soon. Otherwise, you might not like to stay in the earth. So all of those things are there. So there is an essay written by Matilda Wu. It is written by Matilda Wu about her experience of traveling in Nepal. नेपालमा ट्राभल गर्दाखेरिको एक्सपिरियन्सलाई उनले के गरेकी छन् त? उनले लेखेकी छन्। Matilda, it's he or she? It's he. पक्का हो? Because
how did the writer feel when he was leaving Nepal?
When he was leaving. So that means it's definitely के त? Right. All right. So we did a classic Nepal triangle trip. What kind of trip was it? A triangle trip. That is to say that the person traveled probably three places. And that formed sort of a triangle. And that's the reason why he is calling it a classic. Why is it a classic? What's the meaning of classic? A classic. What's the meaning of classic, Baba? Classic भनेको के हो त? Classic भनेको के हो त? Classic भनेको classic एकदमै which is well known. Well known. Classic भनेको के हो त? Well known. Which has structure. Structure एकदमै प्रख्यात, एकदमै धेरै धेरै अभ्यास गरेर आएको चीज, वर्षौंदेखि चलिआएको क्लासिक के भनेर भनिन्छ त्यसलाई? क्लासिक. क्लासिक. Classic. भनेर भनिन्छ त?
Classic.
Classic भनेर भनिन्छ. So classic. Classic means something that has been happening for a long period of time. Happening over a long of time, and it is it is appreciated by everybody. It is well accepted. By everybody. Classic. Classic को अर्थ के हो? सबैले मान्यता दिएको. Classic. So it is a classic triangle trip of Kathmandu, Nepal. So Kathmandu, Chitwan and KTM, and then Chitwan and Pokhara. A classic triangle trip, which is generally what happens when the tourists come to Nepal. Tourists जब नेपाल आउँछन् तिनीहरूले के गर्छन् त generally? तिनीहरूको generally trip भनेको पोखरा. They don't want to miss Pokhara. They don't want to miss Kathmandu, and of course they don't want to miss Chitwan also, right? So Chitwan, Kathmandu and Pokhara. And then it says that I must admit that all have their own charm and very few places can achieve at the same time. Huh? No, it's being recorded. Yeah, it's being recorded somewhere. So, I must admit that all have their own charm. Charm. Charm means charm को अर्थ के होला? Charm. कुनै चीजको सुन्दरता, कुनै चीजको attraction, some kind of, an attraction. Charm is an attraction. An attraction, an affinity. के पनि भन्न सकिन्छ?
Affinity.
कुनै चीज प्रति तिमीलाई चार्मिङ, कति चार्मिङ छ भनेपछि you like it. कुनै चीज मन पार्नु, कुनै चीजलाई एकदमै राम्रो तरिकाले के गर्नु, कुनै चीज प्रति एकदमै आफ्नो लगाव हुनु, charm. So all of these, Kathmandu has its own charm. Similarly, Chitwan has its own charm. आफ्नै एक किसिमको आकर्षणता छ के, आकर्षकता. त्यसै गरिकन पोखराको आफ्नै छ, हैन? They have their own attraction, they have their own charm. Read on, you will see why I have the nerve to say so. To have nerve. के भन्छ? To have nerve. What does that mean? What is a nerve? All of you know. Nerve, nasa. To have nerve. It comes together. Your phrasal, and it's a phrasal expression. कस्तो expression हो यो? Phrasal. Phrase को रूपमा हुन्छ के? I have to have nerve. I have the nerve to have courage. Nerve भनेको के हो? To have nerve भनेको to have
Courage.
So the writer is explaining why he has the nerve, he has the courage to say that these three places have their own charm. So Kathmandu. What is special about Kathmandu? Let's move on. So Kathmandu. Kathmandu is, of course, Kathmandu is the capital of Nepal. All of you know this, right? Kathmandu is the capital. And it is in Kathmandu that the saying, the first impression is the last impression. The first impression is the lasting impression. What does this mean? So let's take this one. The first impression is a lasting impression. के हो तपाईलाई यो भनेको? What does it mean? The first impression. Impression भनेको प्रभाव. पहिलो प्रभाव नै a lasting impression. Lasting impression भनेको के हो? Something that lasts. अन्तिम होइन यहाँ. Something that lasts longer भनेको के हो? सधैँभरि रहने. Your shoes can last long if they are original. Original छन् भने your shoes will last long. लामो समयसम्म रहने प्रभाव हो. पहिलो प्रभाव नै लामो समयसम्म रहने प्रभाव हो. भनेपछि लास्टिङ भनेको के हो त? लामो समयसम्म रहने. मलाई त्यति उसा लेख्न I don't want to actually write it in Nepali because you have to understand the language in its own, on its own. You have to understand the concept in the same language, and that way you learn रहन सक्नु. Right? प्रभाव. तो लामो समयसम्म रहन सक्ने प्रभाव हो. The first impression is a lasting impression. Right? Isn't it so? कुनै पनि चीज पहिलो पटक हामीलाई कुनै चीजको अनुभूति हुन्छ भने त्यो जीवनभरि रहन्छ. कोही व्यक्तिप्रति तिम्रो फर्स्ट इम्प्रेसन नै नेगेटिभ परिदियो भने तिमीलाई कता कता त्यो व्यक्तिको बारेमा नराम्रो भावना आयो भने it will last for a long time. बुझ्नुभयो? फर्स्ट इम्प्रेसन. पहिलो इम्प्रेसन के हुन्छ? पहिलो इम्प्रेसन महत्त्वपूर्ण हुन्छ. के हुन्छ? पहिलो इम्प्रेसन महत्त्वपूर्ण हुन्छ. जस्तै तिमी कुनै प्रडक्ट किन्न जान्छौ भने पनि मार्केटमा you will choose the product which looks the best. You have not used it, you have not smelled it, you don't know the result, but the one which looks beautiful and the one which looks original, you will go for that, even though it may be fake, because that lasts for a long time, right? अनि कुनै चिज ठिकै यो एकचोटिलाई यस्तो गडबड भएको होइन, यो जेनरली राम्रो हुन्छ भनेपछि फेरि you will give it a try again. So first impression is a lasting impression. The city is massive. Kathmandu is massive. If you look at Kathmandu now Kathmandu city is a massive city. It's a huge city in some ways. Probably not in terms of area, but in terms of how crowded it is. In terms of the crowd, Kathmandu is a massive city. It is a
massive city.
In terms of what?
In terms of the crowd.
In terms of crowd, right? Okay, keep this in mind. If you want to write about Kathmandu, if you come across an assignment or an exam or a question that you have to write about Kathmandu, you can use those things, even in social studies, or it could be in science also a little bit, if they are going to talk about pollution and all that. So it's not only English, right? Surrounded by, nestled in a green valley. It is nestled. के गरिएको छ? Nestled. N-E-S-T-L-E-D. Nestled. Nest मा रहेको. Nest. What is a nest? Go, right? जहाँ चाहिँ चराहरूलाई चराले के गर्छ? बच्चाहरूलाई राख्ने ठाउँलाई गुम भनेर भनिन्छ नि. So nest. Similarly, Kathmandu is nested. It is nestled. It is nestled by in a valley. It's in a valley, nestled in a valley, isn't it? Yes. And the valley is surrounded by, of course, what is a valley? Standard definition of valley. Valley is mountains. Right. Valley is a geographical structure which is surrounded by
the mountain.
by the mountains, by the valley, by the hills. So Kathmandu is surrounded by massive mountains. Massive mountains. Enormous mountains. Enormous mountains. Enormous means?
Inner.
No. Enormous. Enormous. E-N-O-U-R-M-O-U-S. Enormous. के हो enormous भनेको? Enormous भनेको अत्यन्तै ठुलो. Huge. के हो त?
Huge.
अत्यन्तै ठुलो. Huge. Huge. Big. Gigantic. एकदमै ठुला ठुला केले त? पहाडहरूले के गरेको छ त? घेरिएको छ, right? Now, a quick drive from the airport to the town left me with amazement at the red brick houses. Red brick houses. के गरेछ त भन्दाखेरिमा a quick drive एकदमै छोटो ड्राइभ कहाँबाट? From the airport. Airportबाट छोटो ड्राइभ to the town, right? Left me with an amazement. Amazement means achammet. When you are surprised, it amazes you. So the writer was left in a place. He was he was feeling amazed by what? By red brick houses. के थे? Red brick houses हरूले किन नेपालको त्यो एकदमै प्रख्यात छ नि त red brick houses. It looks beautiful, isn't it? Red brick houses. Even now, the new painting of the ashram building, it looks beautiful. The first concrete, the main building, it looks beautiful. The red one. Houses, people smiling face. Nepalese seem to be smiling a lot, right? Nepalese do smile a lot. That's what they say. Nepalese, they smile a lot. They have a beautiful smile. So smiling faces. What is it? Smiling faces. Red brick houses. Smiling, sorry. Smiling faces. Even though Nepalese do not have a lot, धेरै आफूसँग धेरै नभए पनि जनताहरू मानिसहरू अलिक खुसी नै देखिन्छन्, अलिकति हाँसेको खुसी भएको देखिन्छ. अब that is debatable, or is it true? Is there a debate? Do you agree with it? नेपालीहरू एकदमै खुसी हुन्छन् रे. नेपालीहरू खुसी छन् त overall? What do you think? At present, not much. That's what he says. Presently, यो कुरा चाहिँ अलि साबित हुँदैन भन्ने कुरा नेपालीहरू. We should take a survey and find out whether Nepalese are really happy. Right? But the guests, they feel it, that we are always happy. As well as roaming cattle. Cattle means भेडा, बाख्रा, गाई, यिनी सबैलाई के भनेर भन्छ? Cattle. So when you come to Nepal, of course, you will see cattle all around. On the streets, right? बाटोमा, मन्दिरमा, shopping mallमा, बजारमा, mall. Yeah, sometimes you may have. Shopping गर्ने भित्र पनि कहिलेकाहीँ अब गाई भित्र गएर आनन्दले बसेको नि हुन सक्छ. Right? नेपालमा त अलि कम छ. इन्डियामा if you go, it's really like, yeah, that's how it is. Yeah. And busy traffic. And busy traffic. एकदमै busy छ नेपाल ट्राफिक. पछि कलेज जाँदाखेरि थाहा हुन्छ. Busy traffic. अब वेस्ट पोइन्टबाट आउँदाखेरि त नजिकबाट त्यति धेरै ट्राफिकमा पर्नु पर्दैन. But you know, you have a little bit of experience of going out in the morning, right? You know how terrible the traffic is. And that's the reason probably going far away for college is not a good idea, because you will waste a lot of your time. A lot of time and energy. That's why, why do you want to waste anyways in your time? So, yes, it's like what you saw in the movie or that while things are more sophisticated when you are actually here, actually there. मुभीमा जे देखिन्छ त्यो यथार्थ हो अथवा यहाँ हुँदाखेरि इट मे बी इभन मोर सफिस्टिकेटेड अझै जटिल हुन सक्छ सोफिस्टिकेटेड कम्प्लिकेटेड सोफिस्टिकेटेड मिन्स सोफिस्टिकेटेड को अर्थ के हो तुम्हारा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सोफिस्टिकेटेड को अर्थ के होता कॉम्प्लिकेटेड things can be complicated जटिल so complicated and sometimes sophisticated means highly cultured culture एकदमै बढी संस्कार भएको त्यस्तोलाई पनि सोफिस्टिकेटेड भनेर भनिन्छ कुनै चीज एकदमै बढी संस्कारी छ भने त्यो पनि के हो त सोफिस्टिकेटेड खाना खाना बस्दाखेरि पनि सोफिस्टिकेटेड म्यानर्सहरू जस्तै सहज तरिकाले हामीले खाइन्छ नि त्यो तरिकाले नभइकन एकदमै अब सबै चिज चट्टा उगारेर के हुन्छ हातको मुभमेन्ट यता उता सबै चिजको ख्याल द्याट्स अल्सो अ सोफिस्टिकेटेड वे अफ लाइफ यु क्यान से सोफिस्टिकेटेड इङ्ग्लिस if you are using extremely precise vocabularies complicated words you are using sophisticated language which is not easy for others for common people to understand right in Kathmandu we spotted a riot of colors riot of colors what does this mean riot riot भनेको के होता riot means when a crowd is crazy you call it a riot crazy crowd or sometimes you can call it frenzy crowd control गर्दै नसक्ने क्राउडलाई के भनेर भनिन्छ रायट भनेर भनिन्छ हुलदंगा रायट मानिसहरूले रायट गर्न सक्छन् के गर्न सक्छन् रायट गर्न सक्छन् हुलदंगा गर्न सक्छन् लडाई झगडा गर्न सक्छन् त्यो पनि रायट हो तर यहाँ चाहिँ रायट अफ कलर्स what this could mean what could it mean riot of colors यसको अर्थ के हुन सक्छ कलरै कलरको भिड भनेपछि कलर्स एभ्रीवेयर राइट कलरै कलर इट्स नट इन अ नेगेटिभ कनोटेसन नकारात्मक अर्थमा होइन रायट भनेको रायटको अर्थ पोजिटिभ पनि हुन सक्छ नेगेटिभ कलरको रायट त यु लाइक व्हेन यु प्ले होली प्ले खेल्दाखेरि यु लभ द कलर्स राइट the uncontrolled colors everywhere color so that is a good thing but when you have people uncontrolled people that's a disaster हैन मानिस कन्ट्रोलमा छैन मानिस काबुमा छैन भने that is a disaster right so that is the thing riot of colors on the street walls murals the next one is murals means painting huge paintings actually what
huge
paintings it could be on the
walls of houses
on the walls paper walls house walls कुनै वालमा हुन सक्यो ह्युज वाल्सहरुमा हुन सक्यो घरको अथवा भित्ताहरु त्यस्तोमा भएको ह्युज पेन्टिङलाई के भनेर भनिन्छ त म्युरल्स त्यो देख्न सकिन्छ कहाँ देख्न सकिन्छ काठमाडौँमा symbols people animals and creative images for up to the stretch of more than a mile more than a mile a mile is unit of distance के हो यो
1.6
unit of distance so के हो त unit of distance 1 mile
Still 1.6
1 mile equals to 1.6 km. 1 mile भनेको 1.6 kilometers. 1.5 kilometer. So this is a unit that is generally used in the US and other countries. We use kilometer, and in India also they use kilometer. But and even in the UK they use kilometer, but in the US they use this unit called as mile. Yes, and then the street art. When we were told that street art is on the rise as local and international artists are setting up projects in Nepal to send out messages of man-made beauty. So Nepal, Kathmandu especially is a very artistic place. Kathmandu अत्यन्तै कस्तो ठाउँ छ त? अत्यन्तै artistic छ. You go anywhere and you say, now of course it's getting crazy, but 10 years back, no matter where you went, you could just sit and enjoy the scene of the valley. The monuments, the temples, the palaces, darbar squares, small, those narrow lanes between the houses, those very old houses, the architecture on the window, the architecture on the doors, the carvings, the potteries, you see, and woodwork. All of that was extremely artistic. Newars, they are very artistic people, right? They're very, very artistic people. So Kathmandu is a very artistic city in that sense. But now it's getting back. That means more and more international people from, international people in the sense, people from different countries, they are coming, they are setting up a project, they are doing some artistic work, and they are doing something to send out a message of man-made beauty. Art सम्बन्धी धेरै कामहरू नेपालमा गर्दैछन् मानिसहरू. बुझेको? Nepal was never colonized. Colonized means
to conquer
to be part of another empire. To be a colony. कुनै अर्को देशको कोलोनी हुनुलाई के भनेर भनिन्छ? Colonized. For example, India was colonized. It was colonized by the British, isn't it?
Yes.
Similarly, many African nations, they were colonized by Europeans, French, Portuguese, and probably Spanish people and all that. So, but Nepal was never colonized. Nepal कहिले पनि के भनेन? कसैको उपनिवेशमा बस्नु. Colonized. उपनिवेश बस्नुलाई के भने? Colonized. Nepal कुनै उपनिवेशमा बसेन. Before the unification in the 18th century, it was ruled under several kings. धेरै राजाहरूबाट Nepal was ruled by many. There were how many small kingdoms? 22-24 राज्य भन्छ नि के रे?
46
Right, even Kathmandu Valley itself had many kings, right? Bhaktapur had one king, Patan had another king, and then you have Kathmandu had another king, and then so there were many kings. So it was divided into several small kingdoms, and these kingdoms, they had a king, and they built marvelous darbars, palaces. एकदमै राम्रा के बनाउँथे? प्यालेसेसहरू बनाउँथे दरबार स्क्वायर्स जसलाई हामीले के भनेर भनिन्छ दरबार स्क्वायर भनेर भनिन्छ के भनेर भनिन्छ राजाहरूको त्यो दरबारको ठाउँलाई दरबार स्क्वायर भनेर भनेको दरबार स्क्वायर स्प्लेन्डेड मिन्स स्प्लेन्डेड दरबार स्क्वायर स्प्लेन्डेड भनेको के हो स्प्लेन्डेड भनेको के Splendid is something which is extremely marvelous. Splendid, extremely marvelous. अत्यन्तै राम्रो. Splendid. Marvelous. Marvelous. Splendid. कुरो बुझिन्छ? दरबार स्क्वायर्स as royal palaces, which are all now monument zones. यिनी चाहिँ विशेष मोनुमेन्ट जोन्सहरू हुन् के हुन् यिनीहरू मोनुमेन्ट के हो त मोनुमेन्ट भनेको के हो मोनुमेन्ट भनेको तुलसी ल भन सुतिरहेकी छौ नभन मोनुमेन्ट भनेको के हो monuments are buildings of historical value के छ historical sometimes even religious value buildings of historical religious value के भनेर भनिन्छ तिनलाई monuments भनेर भनिन्छ monuments splendid भनेको अत्यन्तै marvelous So this amazing and marvelous, these Darbar squares are turned into monuments. They are now historical. They have a historical value. के छ यिनीहरुमा अब historical value छ ऐतिहासिक महत्व छ monuments दरबार स्क्वायरहरु है and then monumental zones of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the Kathmandu Valley. So they belong to UNESCO heritage sites. UNESCO को heritage sites को list मा पर्छ के त काठमाडौँ भ्याली का monuments राजा काठमाडौँ भ्याली का दरबार स्क्वायर्स तिनलाई अहिले monuments मा परिणत भयो र तिनलाई heritage sites कसले डिक्लेयर गरेको छ UNESCO has declared it to be heritage sites. And the one we visited, Patan Darbar Square, is really impressive. अत्यन्तै के छ त impressive. What does impressive mean? Right.
Wow.
Attractive. Something that impresses you. You might idea something. All right. Yep. The peaceful palace courtyards contain various well-preserved pagodas and stone temples. So courtyards, these palace courtyards. Palace का के छन्? Courtyards, जसलाई स्क्वायर भनेर भनिन्छ. Courtyards भनेको नेपालीमा के हो त? आँगन. घरको अगाडि के हुन्छ? आँगनहरू हुन्छ. यो प्यालेसहरुमा पनि पहिलेदेखिको चलन के त भन्दाखेरिमा प्यालेसको अगाडि आँगन हुन्थ्यो. ती आँगनहरुमा के हुन्थे? पगोडाजहरु हुन्थे, टेम्पलहरु हुन्थे, साना साना मन्दिरहरु बनाउँथे राजाले आफ्ना. त्यो दरबारको मन्दिर, दरबारका बिहारहरु बनाउँथे, साना साना पगोडाहरु बनाउँथे. And these are well preserved. यिनी अहिले पनि के छन्? संरक्षित छन्. Well preserved. के भनेर भनिन्छ? Well preserved. के भनेर भनिन्छ? Well preserved. भनेको के गरिएको छ? संरक्षण गरिएको छ. These are well preserved. Our private guide Kshitij did a good job explaining functions of the beautiful wood carvings, symbols and ornaments. So ornaments, विभिन्न ornaments हरु अब कुनै ठाउँमा सुन ढोका छ, सुनका ढोकाहरु छन्, कुनै ठाउँमा चाँदीका ढोकाहरु छन्, हो हैन? विभिन्न देवीहरुलाई सजाएर राखेका ornaments हरु छन्. तिनी ornaments हरुको महत्व छ, आफ्नै महत्व छ कि छैन? छ. त्यसपछि wood carvings हरु छ. काष्ठ कला. हैन? काठमा चाहिँ कुनै कलाहरु कोरिएको छ. Symbols, तिनका महत्व, तिनका प्रत्येकका symbol, जटिल symbolहरु छन्. If you go to Kathmandu Valley, if you go on a visit, it is amazing. Harigam? What is that? Oh. प्रत्येक ठाउँमा मूर्ति छ, प्रत्येक ठाउँमा कुनै उ छ, and then there is a story behind all the carvings using. That's why it's very, very special. Symbols. With his rich knowledge, the ancient site was brought to life. So their guide, the writer's guide, he was able to bring what? He was able to bring the carvings into life. How? By explaining it. By explaining it in such a way that you feel that okay, this has something and this has life in it. एकदमै त्यस्तो खालको के थियो व्याख्या गर्थ्यो उसले काठमाडौँको विभिन्न तिनी मूर्तिहरूदेखि लिएर तिनी चित्रकलादेखि लिएर सबै चिजहरूलाई यस्तो तरिकाले एक्सप्लेन गर्दा कि एज इफ यु वेल वाचिङ अ लिभिङ सिटी कता जिउँदो शरीर एकदम लाइफ भएको जीवन भएको रस भएको सहर जस्तो प्रत्येक मूर्तिमा रस हुन सक्छ प्रत्येक मूर्तिमा एउटा जीवन हुन्छ हो किन त्यो तिमीले हेर्न जान्नु पर्यो बुझ्न जान्नु पर्यो त्यो हिसाबमा कुरो छ And then as we walked through, flocks of pigeons circled above the monuments. So these monuments, there are pigeons. You will see pigeons flying around the monuments, making it a fascinating picture before us. हाम्रो अगाडि त्यसले एउटा कस्तो पिक्चर बनायो फ्यासिनेटिङ पिक्चर खिचेको पिक्चर होइन कि कस्तो एउटा दृश्य पिक्चरलाई के पनि भनिन्छ दृश्य डिपेन्ड्स अन द कन्टेक्स्ट fascinating picture a sight right एउटा दृश्य बनायो कुराकानी बुझ्यो So what are the words that we have come across? Can we go through all the words? Blow. कुनै चिजले हठात धक्कल्नु हठात तिमीलाई चाहिँ वाह बुझ्नुभएन? हावाको झोको लाग्यो टु ब्लो आवर माइन्ड, हाम्रो मस्तिष्कलाई नै घुमाइदियो. So what they said, it blew their mind. Skill is more important than education in today's Nepal. आजको नेपालमा चाहिँ के इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ? Skill is more important. What is more important?
Skill is more important.
What does this mean?
शिक्षा न कलामा
शिक्षा भन्दा स्किल भनेको के हो? दक्षता, कुनै चिज गर्न जान्नु. कुनै चिज गर्नै जानिँदैन शिक्षाबाट भने त त्यो त शिक्षैको भएन, अर्थै भएन. अहिलेको नेपालको परिस्थिति त्यही छ. मान्छेले शिक्षा हासिल गर्छ, डजन्ट नो हाउ टु स्पिक इन इङ्ग्लिस, मास्टर्स इन इङ्ग्लिस बट डजन्ट नो हाउ टु स्पिक इन इङ्ग्लिस. If you ask them to sit in front and deliver a lecture in English, they are not capable. What's the point? Engineer भन्छ, आउँदैन इन्जिनियरको म्याथमेटिक्स यही पनि आउँदैन. कम्प्युटर पढ्ने भन्छ, कापीमा लेखेर कम्प्युटर पढ्छ. राइट? भनेपछि त्यो त दक्षता भएन, त्यो त स्किल भएन भाइ. स्किल त यु हेभ टु बी एबल टु डु समथिङ, यु हेभ टु बी एबल टु क्रिएट समथिङ वन्स यु लर्न. समस्या त्यस्तो छ. त्यही भएर बाहिर विदेशमा गएर यहाँको पढाइले के गर्ने हो त? यु स्टार्ट लर्निङ हाउ टु मेक, even if you have done bachelor's or master's in something, you have to learn some skills, like for example how to serve in the restaurant मा कसरी सर्भ गर्ने, त्यसपछि कफी कसरी बनाउने, अथवा चाहिँ टोयलेट कसरी सफा गर्ने, अनि त्यसपछि बच्चाहरूको रेखदेख कसरी गर्ने, यी स्किलहरू सिक्न पर्यो. अनि बल्ल जब पाइन्छ. गएर कोर्सट लगाएर ल हेर्नुहोस्, म त नेपालमा चाहिँ मास्टर्स गरेर आएको, आई निड अ जब, दिँदैन बाबा. व्हाट डु यु नो? नथिङ. अनि त्यसपछि त्यो ट्रेनिङमा जानु पर्यो हैन? तिमीलाई र तिमी स्कुल कलेजै नगइकन तिमी कुनै उमा गरेछौ भने स्किल इज मोर इम्पोर्टेन्ट. फर एक्जाम्पल दिनेश went to Australia. उसले के गर्यो त? He had skills. He did not have a degree or certificate. He just completed his 12th standard. That's all. But he had those skills. त्यसले गर्दा उसलाई त्यो भयो. तर यदि पढाइबाटै तिमीले स्किलहरुको हासिल गरेछौ भने you will have a different life. त्यो पनि फेरि फरक अर्को लाइफ हो, अर्को तरिकाको लाइफ हुन सक्छ. So skill is more important. So anyways, let's move on. I was also struck by the fact that Nepalese see death as an everyday experience. मृत्यु भनेको सधैँको एउटा चाहिँ रीति जस्तो, everyday experience. पशुपति जाऊ त्यही मान्छे जलाएको देख्छौ हैन? When in Pashupatinath temple, one of the 7 UNESCO heritage monuments, the temple is a place where people bring a dead for outdoor cremation. बाहिर cremation भनेको जलाउनको लागि. Cremation भनेको जलाउनलाई on the Bagmati river को side. Instead of feeling grisly, अत्यन्तै डरले भयावह हुनुको साटो, instead of being afraid and scared, right? I found it rather calm. The whole process कस्तो थियो त? शान्त थियो. भयावह डर चिन्ता त्रास राइट भाइ त्यो भन्दा लगभग अब मान्छे त अलिअलि त रुन्छन्, तर it was not that scary, it was not that, you know, what? Grisly, right? Grisly. And more peculiarly भनेको particularly, विशेषतः, particularly peculiarly भनेको के हो? विशेषतः, particularly peculiarly, विशेष तरिकाले, the family did not mind our being there. Mind our being there. हामी त्यहाँ हुनुमा तिनी परिवारहरूले कुनै अप्ठ्यारो मानेन. जेनरली युरोपतिर अमेरिकातिर के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरिमा कोही मरेको छ मान्छे, इन्भिटेसन नदिएको मान्छे त्यहाँ गएर यसरी त्यहाँ मरेको ठाउँमा गएर बस्यो भने दे विल बी लाइक किन आएको, यो कोही काम छैन, यो प्राइभेट यस्तोमा भनेर मान्छे अचम्म पर्छ. नेपालमा त आफ्नो कोही मरेको छ, उता अर्को मान्छे त्यहाँ छ, अर्को मान्छे त्यहाँ छ, केही फरकै पर्दैन. पर्छ न? पर्दैन. So we take things very lightly in that sense. We ran into a few families holding memorial ceremony for the deceased. Deceased भनेको के हो? Deceased. डिजिज्ड भनेको DES, डिसिज्ड भनेको DEC. डिसिज्ड भनेको के हो? डिसिज्ड भनेको the one who has left body, departed, dead. मर्यो. कुरो त्यस्तो छ है.